Hello, Hacksters. Good morning. It is still morning. We are doing a few things differently because last week we had our Impact Summit, which, if you joined us for, we love to see you. And if not, stay tuned for recordings from that, which will be going out soon. It was a super cool 2-day virtual event that we hope will be the first of many, connecting people in the hardware development community with all kinds of cool projects and companies who are working on protecting our Earth's air and water resources and coexisting with the creatures that live in them. So excuse the weird lighting, because all my stuff is still in the office. But I have a really exciting new thing to show you today. This was sent to us by our friends at Make, David Groom, with whom we are actually collaborating on a new series called Hangout and Nerd Out, which we also had the second episode of that during Impact Summit. Hangout and Nerd Out, really quickly, is a thing where we have 3 hosts, 2 of us from Hackster, Ginger Zong and myself, and also David Groom from Make, and we invite 3 guest nerds to talk about their own projects relating to a theme each time. So our first one was wearables. We had some super cool people. This last one was sustainability. These people are amazing, and I can't wait to share that recording with you. And we've got upcoming ones on art and 3D printing and space, all in keeping with Hackster's themed months. So lots of cool stuff to look forward to there. But right now, let's take a look at this Makey bit, because this is the star of the show today. So first up, you can find links to all of these pages I'm about to show you, as always, in the description to the video. Just scroll down and click on all those pretty links. The main one for this is the Maker Shed page, where you can buy the Makey Bit Adventure board for $25. It's on sale just because someone always asks me how much it costs, which makes sense. So, for the Makey Bit Adventure board, this is a microbit compatible board. Ta-da! Microbits. If you're not familiar with these already, they are very beginner-friendly boards for getting into electronics. Lots of people use them to teach students. So these are actually both V1. V2 has a little capacitive touch sensor and a few other little upgrades, but they're actually, I think I only have one of those, and it's embedded in a project right now. Which one? Who knows? So this is the microbit. You've got like a little 5x5 grid of red LEDs, 2 input buttons, and this really cool sort of cartridge system where they slot into different things. And we're going to take a look at that with the Makey Bit Adventure board. I'm not sure that they included one in this box they sent me, which is why I've got a couple of them here. So let's get this open. Well, first let's take a look at the outside. Superpower your projects works with BBC Microbit, V1 and V2, Adafruit Clue, and BrainPad Pulse, which is one that I haven't looked at before. I'm actually a little bit curious about this other board. Connections for servo motors, sensors, NeoPixel strips, and more. Onboard battery pack with on-off switch. Love an on-off switch. That's actually something that frustrates me about these guys is they don't have a power switch on them, and so you have to like unplug them every time. Which, if you're using it with a lipo battery, either you'd better have a switch in line with that battery, or most of them don't come with switches, and so you have to dig it out of there with your fingernails, and it's horrible. So love an on-off switch. Also, for anyone building wearables, on-off switches are wonderful, and also robots in case they go haywire. There's always the danger of a robot going haywire. As with anything else, you gotta have an off switch and e-stop. So the Makey Bit makes it simple to make cool stuff with your microcontroller, hooking up multiple devices like LEDs, servos, and sensors through the easy-to-connect header pins, and ARM connections. I see, head pin and ARM connections. It literally has a head, which you can't quite see here, but I think that that's what they're talking about. And ARM connections gives you more control over your projects than just the microcontroller itself. They've got a Lego brick on here, which you'll see the board is sort of designed to interface with. I'll let you check out the rest of what this says for yourself. But if you'd rather not read it on here, you can go to the link below. Again, the Maker Shed link has a ton of information. Launch into the realm of coding with your own bot of many wonders. Makey as your guide. This is true. They have actually not only the hardware here, but they have a whole set of little classes that you can use to learn to code with the microbit. So this is actually shown on their page here. The second link, I think, in my list is this page, make.co/makeybit, all one word. they give you some project ideas, and if you scroll down here, you'll find tutorials. Oh wait, not on this page, maybe on the Makershed page. Makey Bit collection. Here we go. From Maker Camp, you've got start here, bring Makey alive with a beating heart. I like to move it, adding motors to the Makey Bit. These are also linked below. So, back to our unboxing. Let's get it out of the box. Ta-da! Oh, we got caught. Ta-da! Ah! It's like looking at me. I love that. Okay. And on the back it says, please reuse and recycle. I love how SparkFun and Adafruit and this project from Make also include these wonderful boxes that you can use for projects. I store tons of projects in these types of things, and it's all recycled. Look at that. It comes with a little booklet. Oh, I love this. Love a booklet. Okay, so let's pop them out of here. And first impressions, we've got a couple of NeoPixels. I believe these are RGB LEDs. Let's see, D1, D2. Are they simple RGB or are they programmable? Do they have 3 lines going to them or 4? I'll figure that out later. So, as mentioned, there's the head of the robot with your 2 RGB LEDs, and then there's the head pins on the back here. And we've got a couple of big capacitors. We've got your on-off switch. Oh wait, maybe that's just a dip switch for telling it what to do. I think it's an on-off switch though. Often these type of dip switches though are used for configuration for different types of complex electronics. There's a couple of other logos on here that we'll dig into later. It seems to be a collaboration with a couple of other groups. I'm going to fix the focus so we can get a nice close-up look. Pardon me a moment. Come on, get in there. Well, this may be the closest that we get. As I mentioned, bit of a strange setup today. But yeah, we've got our battery pack. I'm going to go ahead and stick in 3 AA batteries that I just happen to have on hand. Cool. And then, as mentioned before, there's these pins on the head and also pins on the arms. You'll notice that these are circles. That is both similar to the original, to the microbit board itself. You can attach alligator clips there. Just make sure not to, cross them. Don't short them across like this. That would be bad. Unless that's what you want to do. Don't short the battery to ground, please. But you can also attach them to Lego. That's a big part of what they show in the pictures and stuff, is these attached to Lego. So up here at the top, there are a couple of rows of pins, and the first 3 on each row are used for servos. So we're going to actually try hooking up a couple of servos and going through one of the tutorials here. But first, let's attach our microbit. I'm going to use a blue one because obviously. And if we flip it on, we should get signs of life. Oh yes, look at this. We have a little up. I wonder what that means. Oh, you know what? This is probably something I programmed in here before. I think this is maybe a mouth I made for a little robot character. So you've got like a little up. Or are these eyes? Like a big one. And then like a little one. What's going on here? Anyway, who knows what I had programmed on here, but we're going to reprogram it. I've got some construction going on here, it sounds like. So I'm going to use my, please forgive the noises. I'm just going to hook this up here and stick this other guy under here so that we don't get lots of reflections. Let's take a quick look at this booklet before we dive in. Makey Bit Adventure Board. Welcome to your new Makey Bit Adventure Board. Key features include, etc. To insert your microcontroller, grasp the connector socket on each side with one hand and firmly push the edge into the socket. They do tell you that you need one of the awesome microcontrollers listed below. Ah, look at that! Labels! Love it! Pinout. 2 programmable LED eyes. You've got I2C on here. Also UART. Cool. Labeling the head pins on the back. Control more. Color changing LEDs. Codable RGB LEDs. It says they are special, so I believe that means NeoPixel. Oh yeah, here we go. You can easily connect more like Adafruit's NeoPixel strips via pin connectors or alligator clips. Ha, neat. Mini OLED screen. Not included, but you could attach it. Micro servos. We're going to use a couple of those. Boop. Onboard battery pack. How to ensure the connections don't break. Always grip the battery pack itself and not the Makey bit board. Add-ons and kits. There are some add-ons and kits you can get from the Maker Shed website. Lego compatible. Check it out. Makey bit stuck on a couple rails of Lego. Thank you for your purchase. Share projects and pics. Notes. You can make your little mad science notes. Love it. Okay. So now let's take a look at the website. Makey bit collection. Hey Tariq, I am well. How are you doing? It's lovely to see familiar faces on here. So first up, it's Sean. It's our friend Sean Hemel. Cool. You go to makecode.microbit.org to start programming this. And you can see that I've already got a bunch of different things like SparkFun Rapid Round. We did a collaboration with them. PAX was my name for my Roko robot a while ago. And here we go with the first one. Bring Makey alive with a beating heart. We're going to make a simple animation. We're going to go here. We're going to prep the microbit. Turn it on. If it's a brand new microbit, it comes with a preloaded program. As seen a minute ago, mine does not have that on it. I've replaced it with some bizarre thing that I programmed probably a year or two ago. Write your code. Okay, so open a new project. Click on Basic category. Let's do that. New project. Here we go. Make a bit. There's a colon in there, but I don't know how tolerant of punctuation it is. Okay, so Basic. We're probably going to show LEDs. Let's check that. Yes. Drag it into the worksheet space. Drag it inside forever. Cool. So we're going to put it in here. There we go. Yeah. That's apparently the sound of a heart. Upload the program. But what if we did something a little bit cooler? Let's do... What's it under? Pause. Here we go. We're going to pause it for 200 milliseconds, and we're going to copy these two. Can I do that? I'm going to show... Oh, I could have just started with a blank one. I'm going to make it like a beating heart. Maybe this is like the next step, actually, and I'm getting ahead of myself. But we're just going to do that. So it's going to like do a big heart, pause for 200 milliseconds to a small part. Oh, yeah. The little animation there shows you. Okay, so I'm going to download this. And in case you can't see under that banner, here's what it looks like on the bottom. We've got a download button, big download button. That's going to download a hex file for you. And then there's the Makey bit file name. Whatever you put into that little box there at the bottom is going to be it's just based on the name you gave the project, and that's going to be what your file name is when you download. So you won't be able to see those windows come up, but I think you can actually... Oh yeah, so you can actually use either of those buttons to download it. It's being downloaded as a .hex file. If you make edits and re-download this, obviously you'll either want to rename one of them that you've already downloaded or rename the new file, um, because otherwise you'll just end up with a bunch of parentheses 1, 2, 3, 4, which actually, is not the worst naming convention. So I'm dragging this in my file manager. So I'm on a Mac. So in my Finder, the microbit has shown up on the sidebar as a location. It's a removable drive. It just looks like a USB flash drive. And I dragged and dropped the downloaded .hex file, microbit-makeybit.hex, onto that drive. And uh, Apple macOS always complains about this. So the microbit has an automatic restart once you program it. Like once it loads that program on there, oh, let's look at it go. Once it loads that program on there, we've got some shutter issues, usually because the program is flashing the LEDs and the camera is taking an image of the LEDs. And so the two aren't totally lined up, which is why you get that flashing effect. But to my eyes, it looks like it's just a solid heart each time. Anyway, oh yeah, so macOS always complains when the microbit automatically restarts itself after it loads a new program. So you're gonna get, if you're on a Mac, an error that says disk not ejected properly, eject microbit before disconnecting or turning it off, and like it's always gonna do that. It's fine. That's just because the microbit is restarting itself. So yeah, now we have a little beating heart. It's so cute. We're gonna do one more thing and hook up some servos because I think that that's one of the most fun things to do with a new little microcontroller. So let's see. Actually, do they tell us to do an actual animation? Making the heart beat. Oh yeah, here we go. What if we want to make it look like it's beating? We can do it the same way cartoon animators make things look like they're moving. Okay. That's exactly what they did. Oh, their little beating heart looks a little bit different. And they're having it beat a little bit more slowly, 500 milliseconds, which I think is a little slow, but you could even like adjust the two pause values to make it actually go ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Let's do that actually. So we want it to be small for a smaller amount of time and bigger for a bigger amount of time. Let's try that. Or maybe let's do that for. Okay, I'm gonna download this again. And I'm just gonna leave it as the parentheses 1.hex file. And let's see. It's gonna take a minute to flash. There's actually an LED at the top that's showing that it's being programmed. It stops, it restarts. That didn't really change much at all. That's weird because my two pause values are very different. Why are you doing this? Oh, interesting. Oh no. You know what? I found out that it's actually this light over here that's causing the flickering. So we have the camera shutter speed frequency, and then we have the LED's refresh frequency. And there's also this light over here. It's a Philips Hue bulb. And check that out. Well, now it's not doing it. But I think that it was the light that was causing that flicker. Okay, cool. Oh, no, yeah, there we go. See how it's flickering now? This is legitimately a hardware thing, so oh no. I lied, it's not the light. Maybe they're just like they're not synced up, the camera and the LEDs. But sometimes they line up and sometimes they don't. I don't know. It's a mystery. So I'm curious as to why you did not use one. Did I drag the wrong file onto the thing? Or maybe it's a hardware limitation. What happens if we put it at 400 or, yeah, and 200? Download. Upload that. Oh, pardon. There you go. Restarting. Well, that's very strange to me that it is not actually. I wonder if I rename the file something else. I'm going to try one more thing to see if I can get it to respect those pause lengths. It's so strange to me that like I rewrote this to have different pause lengths, and it's just Oh, you know what? It is working now. It's just very subtle. Do 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 do. Okay, so the big heart is twice as long. Mystery solved. It was just a perceptual issue. Did you know that humans are not perfectly good at perceiving differences in time and stuff? Okay, so we've done the beating heart. That's super cool. Now let's try servos. As mentioned before, there are two little 3-pin areas on these this 2-row header at the top of the microbit of the Makey bit. And I'm going to plug my servos in there. They are labeled. Let's take a look. Here are my two servos. And a nice thing is that the power for the servos gets drawn directly from your batteries, so there's no loss of power from it going through the microcontroller. The microcontroller and the motors are powered in parallel. So GND is the third one over. Ah! It already did a little thing. But let me put a horn on you so we can actually see what you're doing. Boop. Let's do the star one, because that one's always fun. Or we could do some eyebrows. Star. I think that this will be more obvious on video. Whoa! So I'm sort of spewing parts everywhere, but note that these just slot onto here with, there's like a little knurled attachment on here. On these servos, it's made of metal. On other ones, it might be made of plastic. The fancier servos will have metal attachments. They're much more durable. You don't actually want to fit, which is strange because you're coming from the same type of servo. What? Very weird. And then also there are mounting screws for mounting the servo to different surfaces using these holes in it. And then also there are little metal screws for oh wait, no. This is actually one that goes in the top. I lied. There are mounting screws, but also there's these metal bolts that go in the top here to hold that servo horn in place so that it can't be just pulled off once you're ready to really assemble your robot. I'm going to leave it that way for now. So we've got one servo. Let's do the other one and try not to mix up their parts together. This one already has a horn on it. Mysteries. Are these both arranged the same way? Yes. So making sure to put the brown pin, wire over by the ground pin. In lots of electronics, you'll have black for ground and red for voltage, or, well, red for power, and red for positive, black for ground or negative. But in this case, it's brown for ground or negative. It kind of rhymes, brown and ground. Red for positive voltage, and then the orange wire is for data. You'll often find some variation on this for servos. Over here we've got one that has black for ground, red for positive, and white for data. That's also pretty common. You may find other color combos. So here are our two servos. They're actually labeled on here. P2 servo, P0 servo A, servo B. Pin P0 servo A, pin 2 servo B. Cool. Let's flip this guy over. Which one was which? This one is B. This one is A. Okay, let's write something and have some fun with this. Reflections are the bane of my existence. There we go. It's coding time! Make the servo motors, add the servo motor extension. That's right, there are lots of different extensions for the microbit interface on MakeCode. You can do radio broadcast ones. That's really cool. You can have multiple of them talk to each other, even in like little groups that all respond to a leader, or talking to each other, or talking on different channels. There's a data logger. What else do we got? Micro turtle. Logo like turtle library. Sonar sensors. Kitronic servo light. That's actually I mentioned a minute ago. No, actually, not yet. It's in the future. We're going to talk about the Kitronic servo light really quick. Kitronic motor driver. There's all these other different attachments. You know what? Let's talk about it right now because they're right here. Before we proceed, there's a bunch of other cool breakouts and attachments for the microbit that you might not be aware of. So let's take a look at some of them. First off, actually, here's the Clue by Adafruit, which is another version of microbit that Adafruit made. It's got a little LCD screen, some extra little lights, and I think that's a color sensor. Not sure. Light and color sensor. Then we've got some other things. And also I've tacked on here a vibration motor. But they've got some other, like a little buzzer to make sounds and things like that. It's a cool little board. Adafruit Clue. And then we've got a bunch of other ones. I linked a bunch of these in the description below. So we've got the SparkFun Motobit carrier board. It's this guy. It's a motor breakout for the microbit. You stick the microbit on top there, and then you have all kinds of servo breakouts and a barrel jack connector for power, stop motors, run motors. You can leave your microbit on while turning the motors off when you're reprogramming it, which I find very handy. Left and right DC motors, a quick connector for I2C modules that SparkFun puts out, and all kinds of other stuff there. Motobit. SparkFun also has a straight-up microbit breakout, which is much more compact, and you can stick this into a... it just breaks out all the edge pins on the microbit. You can stick this into a PCB of your own manufacturer or a breadboard or whatever, and they'll all be nice and lined up there. 2 quick connectors for breakouts here. I've got an air quality sensor breakout attached here. Then... let's see. So that second one was the SparkFun Quick Microbit Breakout. There's the KittenBot. They actually make, that's a company that makes several breakout modules. So the one that I have here is one that allows you to make little robots. You've got 4 RGB LEDs, a bunch of servo breakouts, some little analog interfaces, motors. You can drive them forwards and backwards. Here is a spot for an 18650 battery. And on-off switch, love it. Micro USB. And a buzzer. All kinds of cool stuff on there. So this is from KittenBot, the robot bit, which is not exactly the one that I've linked in the description, but it's the same company. What else have we got? The servo light board. So this is the reason that I wanted to show you this board. They have an extension in the microbit programming interface, Kitronic servo light. It looks like this. I think this is a really handy little board. Let's take a look. It's got spots for 3 AAA batteries, so less power on board than your Makey bit here. AAAs instead of AA's. And I just screwed up my whole little setup there, but a very compact little interface that has a lot to offer. Power switch, 5 RGB LEDs, and a bunch of little servo breakouts that you can use for servos or neopixels, actually. I think one of them, you can either have 4 servos or 3 servos in a neopixel, strip or bar or whatever. And yeah, and a little battery holder. I think it's a very nice, compact little servo holder for microbit breakout. Then we've also got the Citron EDU bit kit. which I covered on Hackster before and have linked below. Where have I put that? Ah, it was under all the other ones. This is actually a very mega kit. I can't even fit it on here in our camera window, but it is this whole huge breakout with a very hefty educational booklet. Ooh, it's from Citron. And they come with these little like game setups made of paper, snakes and ladders, twister wheel, all these other things that you can build. And then the whole thing itself looks like so. These modules that you can break off or just leave them attached. If you break them off, you can reattach them with these Grove-style R2C cables. You've got a little stoplight, traffic light. You've got a little potentiometer, a little microphone, audio out, little infrared, distance sensor with adjustable sensitivity, 2 buttons, and some RGB LEDs and things like that. Very cool little kit. All kinds of stuff on here. As you can see, there's, the microbit has been around for not that long, and it's already got all these really amazing breakouts for it. And then also one that I think has been discontinued. This is the Doctor Who High Five inventing kit, inventor coding kit, and it's got an integration with Doctor Who. So they actually had Jodie Whittaker, a doctor, do some co-branding with them. So that's this guy. High five. Very neat. And I've made a mess of it, but you can learn alongside Doctor Who how to program with microbit. And it's a little slightly different actually board. As you can see, it's shaped like a little high five hand. Super cute. It's got this little LED array and stuff like that. I think it's an older version. I got this before it was necessarily released. Very cool little board though. Okay, so after that, long tangent, I wanted to show you what some of your other options are, because there's like a huge vast array of different boards available for working with the microbit. It's also really good just on its own. Like I mentioned, you can attach it to alligator clips and stuff right out of the box. Let's take a look. It's got a battery connector, so you could hook up either a LiPo battery, although you can't charge it from here. Don't try. You can hook up AAA. They really recommend like a battery pack with like alkaline batteries. Just because. Let's see. Yeah, and you can connect to this with alligator clips. You can solder to it, all kinds of good stuff, even without having a breakout board, just for the record. So let's move on to this motor programming exercise and see what they've got for us. Oh yeah, we just installed that extension. So now we have the... Oh, it's appeared here. Servos. So what are we going to do with this? Explore other blocks that control the LED stream, etc. Oh, this is the flashing heart one. Servo motor extension. Test out some code. From the Input tab, select On button A pressed. Doot, doot. And let's actually delete these ones because, well, no, why? Why should we delete them? Well, because it's got pauses in there, actually. I don't want to deal with pauses when we're code. Oh, you know what? This is an input block. It doesn't go inside of another block. It's just activates when you press the button. So I didn't need to worry about that anyway. Yeah, let's leave our little hearts on there. Why not? So on button A pressed, we're going to continuous servos block, P0 and P2. Now, I'm not actually sure that what I have here are continuous servos. Let's see what happens, though. They seem to have some pretty generic microservers. Oh, no, they say continuous. Okay. So I'm going to not use continuous servos because I don't think these are. Well, actually, why not? Let's try. P0 run at 50%. I think it'll either start running and keep going around and around at 50% speed, or it might set itself to 50% of its range. So servos have a range that they go back and forth between, depending on the value you send. Pause for 1,000 milliseconds. I'm just going to copy this block because I'm too lazy to go find it. 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. And then stop. That makes sense. The same with P2. I'm just copying and pasting when I do that. Okay, so on button A pressed, run both of them for 50% speed, then pause for a second, and then stop. So just keep them running for a second, and then stop them. Okay, let's see. I don't think these are continuous servos, so I think they will either change their positions or and then stop, or they will do something unexpected, and we're going to find out. We're flashing. Okay, yeah, as I thought. They are not continuous servos, but running them at 50% speed for a continuous servo takes pretty much the same signal, I believe, as setting one of these non-continuous ones to halfway through their arc. So servos, two types. We've got continuous ones. You give it a speed, it goes round and round and round and round at that speed. 50% speed, 75% speed, etc. Non-continuous servos, which are the ones that I usually use for companion bots. So if you want to set your robot's ears to a certain position, or its arms to a certain position, or its legs to a certain position, you'll often use just these regular types of servos. These are sort of mini servos, micro servos. You can get standard ones that are a lot bigger. But yeah, non-continuous ones have an arc, usually somewhere between supposedly 0 and 180 degrees. So that way, and then all the way through its arc to that way, with 90 degrees in the middle. And you send it a signal to tell it where in that arc to go. In practice, depending on how expensive your servos are, I'll often try to limit it to a range between about 40 and 140 degrees, because they can't quite go from 0 to 180. So if your servo is making grinding noises, maybe try and keep it to a more friendly position. But my guess, anyway, is that 50% signal is just sending these to 50% of their arc. So let's swap these out, because it's actually, here we go. Interesting. Oh, you actually have a really granular control here. You can, I don't know if you can see this. Here we go. Set servo pulse to X amount of nanoseconds, or microseconds. Cool. Stop on neutral off. Set the range. And then these are positional servos, I believe. So we don't even need this pause in there, because they'll just do that. And now to confirm or refute my hypothesis, we're going to set these to 90 degrees. If they don't move, I'm going to actually put that pause back in there. If they don't move, then we know that they were already at 90 degrees, and in fact, that is the same thing. But if not, if they move once, then I was right. If they move twice, then I was wrong. Let's try this. Oh, you know what? I can do it a different way. We'll put on button B pressed. Set it to this. Haha! Okay. Now, we will see. If you didn't quite get what I was just talking about, I'll show you in a second. Okay. This is the last little experiment we're going to do before wrapping up. So here we go. Now, on button A press, they're going to go to 90 degrees. If they were already at 90 degrees from the previous code, then they won't move. But if they weren't, then they will. Oop. Ah, I was wrong! Well, that's why we experiment. Okay, cool. So now they're at 90 degrees. Now they're at 140. Interesting. They're going the opposite direction from what I would have expected. I would have expected 140 to be further clockwise, but it's actually further counterclockwise. Very strange. 90, 140, 90, 140. In my mind, they should be turning clockwise more, but they're not. Anyway, so there we go. I just love messing with electronics, and the microbit is such a fun way to get into it. As you can see, I broke this thing out of the box, you know, what, 40 minutes ago at this point? Less than that. And we've just managed to run a couple of interesting experiments and learn something about human perception of time with the LEDs, learn something about the flickering rate of my camera, the shutter rate of my camera versus the flickering of the LEDs on there. We've also learned a bit about how these servos work and which direction they turn. Ah, so interesting. This is, it's a wonderful educational tool, and I think this Makey bit board is another really fun way to interact with it. Let's see what Axwax has to say. Another funky microbit add-on is the SparkFun Weather Bit. Comes with a BME 280 temp, humidity, pressure sensor, and lets you connect generic rain, wind, and soil sensors. Lots of fun. Cool, let's check that out. SparkFun Weather Bit. Ooh, yeah, look at that. 18 bucks. Microbit carrier board with quick breakout. It's only got one quick breakout, is that right? QWIIC. Here we go. Serial port, I2C port, quick port. Cool little soil moisture and temperature, screw terminals, wind and rain sensors. They use, oh, interesting. I'm sure they tell you what kinds of sensors those use. Does not include a microbit board. What are the exact sensors you're using with these? Weather meter sockets, RJ11 jacks at the bottom of their weather bit, used to connect our weather kits to the weather bit. Weather kits to the weather bit. Weather meters. Cool. Measure wind speed and direction as well as rainfall. Ah, awesome. And they have a make code extension to make sure that that's easy to use. So let's take a look at that really quick. Extensions. Weather bit. Cool. EnviroBit. PXT microbit package for the Pimoroni environment. EnviroBit. Pimoroni EnviroBit. I say Pimoroni because it stands apparently for Pirate Monkey Robot Ninja, as I learned a while ago. So Pirate Pi. But yeah, here we've got the EnviroBit. Very exciting. Ah, neat. All kinds of cool breakouts for your microbits. Wonderful little board. Very thankful to Make for sending us this Makey bit to play with. Again, it comes with all these, we just went through the first 2 tutorials and messed around a bit in the meantime. There's a bunch of other classes that they have on there written for Maker Camp and so forth. Check out the Makey bit. Have a good time and hack on. They sell the sensors too, but you can use that on Makes too.